Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm bringing you this extra glam makeup look. I used all high-end products. I wasn't sure if this was a video you would want to see, but I did a poll on my Instagram stories and like 90% yes. So here it is. So if you want to see how I get this whole look, please keep watching. So I'm going to start off and prime my skin with my Marc Jacobs Coconut Primer. Oh. Feels just so nice on the skin, refreshing. It's so warm in Vancouver right now. Okay, I know we complain when it's cold and then we complain when it's hot, but it's hot. For my foundation, I'm taking the YSL All Hours foundation, which again is another favorite. I've used this in many a tutorial. The shade I use is BD30. Gives really nice coverage. And it was definitely more on the dewier side, so if you're quite oily, I'm not sure how this will sit on your skin, but I'm sure if you use like oil controlling primers, it should help. And I like this coverage because it covers, but it also keeps the skin looking like skin, you know, like it's not like a full mask, even though it is full coverage. For concealer, I'm taking the Magic Away concealer. It's just a little twist up concealer with a sponge applicator. So it takes a few goes to really get the product going. I'm just going to use this to conceal and just brighten up along my T-zone. Just going to blend that out now. I really should use this concealer more. I always forget about it. I always find a favourite and just keep using that favourite, and then I forget about the other ones that I like. But this one is actually really nice. Gives you that nice coverage and keeps your skin looking like skin. So if you are someone who does like coverage but doesn't like it to look too heavy, I feel like you would like this one. Now I'm taking this Marc Jacobs Invisible Powder. I can't remember if I liked this or not. I don't think I loved it. It's the only high-end setting powder that I have. I have the Hourglass one, which I love. You know I love because I use it all the time. But I don't know if that's considered high-end or middle of the road. I don't know. So we'll stick with Marc Jacobs. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and go under my eyes first. Oh shit, I put way too much on that. That was like a white chick's moment. And do along my eyebrows, which are getting real bushy right now. And then I'm just going to pat some along my forehead because it's 5,000 degrees outside. We need this makeup to stay on. I'm just going to lightly dust around the outside of the face because I'm going to bronze with a powder and I don't want it to stick on any of the foundation that's not like dry. So I'm taking my Marc Jacobs Tastic bronzer and we're going to bronze and contour with this. So I'm going to start with a big fluffy brush. This is an Hourglass brush. It's the double-ended one, which I love. I'm going to start by just warming up the skin. So just using a bigger brush for adding bronzer is really good because it just kind of lightly distributes. I don't know if that's the right word. But it just kind of lightly distributes the product all over the skin, just for a nice warm glow. I have this bronzer which feels like forever, I think since last summer. Would it be? I feel like it was since last summer. If you watch my tutorials, you know this bad boy has shown up in a lot of tutorials. And I still haven't even hit the pan on it. It's way bigger than your average size bronzer. It has a really good mirror in it, which has fingerprints all over it, but it's great for, you can like see your whole face in it, because I find like a lot of these ones are too small that you can't actually do your makeup in it. I would happily do my makeup in this mirror because it's big enough, and the colour's great. It's great to bronze and to contour, and I still haven't hit the pan in it, so everyone needs one of these. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the smaller end and the same bronzer and just lightly kind of go under my cheekbones just to carve them out a little bit more, because you know me, you love a good cheekbone around here. And then I'm just going to lightly go around my temples Just want to contour slightly here. This just like helps me get a more of an oval shape on my face. I feel like my face can be a little bit round sometimes. So I like to contour the sides to sculpt it a little bit more. Get a little bit under the jaw too, because that just helps define your jaw, because the contour just acts as a shadow, so that kind of pulls it in. I am taking my Hourglass brow pencil. This is the brow micro sculpting pencil. I don't know if you consider Hourglass as high-end, but I don't have any other brow products that are like high-end. So using the shade Soft Brunette. So I've been testing the Hourglass brow pencils out for the past like week or two, and I actually really like them. You can get really nice fine hair strokes with it. Colour is really good. The blonde was too warm for me, so the Soft Brunette is actually a perfect colour for me. But yeah, I really like these. And I'm going to set this with their clear brow gel. So I like just to brush the hairs up, and then when I go down the brow I like to comb them out. Just gives it like a softer, fluffier look, which I am very much into right now. So I'm gonna prime my lids using my Marc Jacobs eye primer. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the powder just to set this primer. Now I'm going in with this Dior palette. This one is called Amber Neutrals. So I'm going to start with this shade right here. So I'm just starting with this shade and I'm building it up in the crease. So I think we'll go for that like nice soft diffused eye look today. I'm actually really impressed with the pigments on these eyeshadow palettes, because I find that so often with luxurious eyeshadow palettes and your like designer eyeshadow palettes, the pigment is quite shit in them. I don't know why they make them really sheer or too shimmery, but I never ever reach for a high-end palette. And when I say high-end, I mean like YSL, Dior, Lancome, like any of those. I find that they're very sheer. So this one, I'm actually really impressed that it actually has some pigment to it. Next shade I'm jumping in with is this one here. And I think I'll focus this on the outer crease. I'm just going to press it on just to kind of build up the depth that I want. And then I'll go in and blend it out. So take a little bit more of that and we'll go and place some in the inner crease of the eye, in the inner corner. I'm going to take this Charlotte Tilbury eye pencil. Tried this out for the first time a couple of weeks ago and it's so creamy and smooth and it didn't irritate my eyes, so definitely it's going to be one of my new faves. This is the shade Bedroom Black. So I'm going to go into my waterline and along my lash line. And a little small shader brush then to blend that out. What I'm going to do now is take a little bit of this shade and take a little bit of this shade just on a small brush, and I'm going to go over the liner and just softly blend out that line. You just want to pick up a little product at a time, just on the tip of the brush, and just really softly blend that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some of this shade and just mix these two together. And when I say mix it, this is what I do. I will take a little swish of this, a little swish of this, and I just go back and forth a couple of times so it kind of mixes the colour on the brush. And I am going to wet my brush a little bit. I'm taking the Lancome Fix It Forget It spray. This is just their setting spray. So I'm just going to Put a few squirts on my brush just to get it nice and damp, and then that just helps intensify this colour that I'm about to put on my lid. I go in a couple of times then into the palette and press it on the lid because I want it to be quite shimmery and quite intense. So I want to build up the shade really nicely. I'm going back in with the Charlotte Tilbury eye pencil and this little small shader brush, and I'm just going to take a little bit of it on the brush, just a little bit on the tip of the brush. So I'm going to run this just along my top lash line, just so when I put my lashes down it has like a base to sit on and it all blends a little bit easier. Now I'm jumping into my mascara. This is the YSL mascara. This is a new mascara I've been trying out for the past maybe a few weeks or so, and I actually really like it. Gives a nice bit of length to the lashes, gives some volume. I like the consistency of the formula because it is like a thicker consistency, so you can really build up a fuller lash, which I like. I'm gonna take this eye tint from Armani Beauty. This is the shade 44. I'm just gonna take some and put some on the brush, and I'm gonna apply this to my inner corner. Ooh. Yes. For my blush, I'm taking this Marc Jacobs blush. It's called Flesh and Fantasy. I'm going to add a little bit of colour to my cheeks. And now I'm taking this YSL highlight stick. This is in the shade number 1 light gold. So I'm just going to take some on my finger. I'm going to dab this on the top of my cheekbones. I love this product for days that I'm not wearing foundation. It just goes really nice on the skin. I'll just pop some on my cheekbones and anywhere I want to be a little bit extra glowy, and it just gives the nicest glow. But just because I like to add an extra glow, I'm going to take the Dior palette. This one is the shade Glitz. And I'm going to take this shade and this shade and just mix these together. I'm just going to go over this. I mean, you definitely don't have to use the stick and the palette. I just kind of wanted to use both today. Now I'm going to take this Forget It Fix It spray from Lancome. I don't always wear setting spray, but it's 5 million degrees here, as I've already said. So I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury lip pencil. This is in the shade Pillow Talk. So I'm just going to colour in my lips with this as well, just lightly. I'm taking this YSL lip tint. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I'll find the link and I'll link it below in the description box. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.